All right. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Miss Tranchita.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty okay. How are you?
I'm good. How was Mind Body Fitness Yoga today?
It was challenging but fun.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. What made it fun?
You.
Oh, you're the best. You made it fun.
Oh,
Your class is
thanks.
a lot of fun. There's so many of you, so
Yeah.
I'm like always looking around. But y'all have like really good energy, which I enjoy.
There's so many of us.
Well, I'm excited to have our first podcast here talking about mental health, suicide awareness.
May I have your attention,
We are in a
please?
school, so we're going to hear
GSA
things
is
like that.
meeting in room
If anyone on the
R109 at
podcast
this
needs to
time.
know where
Once again,
GSA is
the
meeting.
GSA meeting will be in room R109.
It's R109.
R109. So we can go there afterwards
Yeah.
if we want to.
Exactly.
Well, I'm super excited to be talking to you on this podcast. I'm super excited that we're doing this. I think I whispered one day, I was like, Katie, what about a podcast? And you were like, blew the idea up and came up with all these awesome ideas. And this setup is legit. And what you're doing is so cool. So I'm really proud of you and really inspired by you.
Thank you.
Well, I thought maybe we could just intro with like how the Cheetah Girls like came about and how it started.
Yeah, I don't even know. Would you like to tell the story?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. So let's see, this is my 9th year teaching, which is crazy. It goes by like that. I just snapped my fingers if you didn't hear that. It goes by so fast. And probably maybe 2 or 3 years into me teaching and me being here in Sycamore, Annie Malecki, who is Mr. Malecki's daughter, was in school, and she took Mind Body Fitness and just really took to it. She really took to the stuff we do in class and the program and, you know, the whole energy that we do. And she was like, what else can we be doing? Like, I want to do more. So I was like, I don't really know. Like, do you want more in class? Like, where should we take this? And she handed me a folder one day, and it was this like write out, organized. It's just the way she works. She's pretty cool. Of this idea and vision that she had, and she just labeled it the Cheetah Girls, and it was this health and wellness club. And from there, it just evolved into, you know, so many different things. And now we have like our annual events, Zumba, which we'd start planning for a cause, and yoga for the girls. And so it was Annie's inspiration, her motivation, and she drove it and she built it and did so many things. So I really hope that we can, you know, honor her legacy, but also we're doing so many cool things now with like the people that we have in the club now. Like I'm just trailing on you all. Like I hope that I could offer a space where everyone feels like they're included and comfortable, and they add value to the club. But I want all of you just to be doing all your good ideas, all your skills and talents.
I really like how diverse we all are. Like, we all have, like, I feel like a certain subject we're really good at. And we all work really well together, like, to talk about those ideas.
Yeah. And that's, like, the strongest team is the most diverse one, because you all have something to bring to the table.
Exactly. As
I
we
like
bring our words to the podcast table.
Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. I love it. All right, so yeah, September is Suicide Awareness Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. So we've been kind of just talking about that. And even with the school, like we're all wearing we all are wearing Connect bracelets to like encourage us to connect with each other and just to open up different lines of connections with other people. So let's talk about mental health and suicide awareness in your age. So, you know, we're in a high school, so you are probably more professional on this than I am. I'll do my best, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like there's many different... I feel like people usually look at mental health and they just think, oh, like it's someone that has a disease or something like that. But really, I feel like everyone struggles from mental health in at least some way, whether that be like body image or... ADHD, anxiety, like all those different things that are becoming so much more common these days. And so I feel like people are finally starting to talk about it instead of pushing it under the rug, being like, oh, like, that's not good.
Yeah. Or judging it like in a different way. Like, I think kind of like what you said, like it's more common now, so anything that's more common is always more acceptable. But I think also people are maybe learning empathy with it, you know, like it is a real struggle. And, you know, if you break your ankle, you can see, oh my gosh, I have this injury. But if you have something going on in your mind, it's not as, you know, you can't see it. So you can't, you know, people
and sometimes
view it differently.
It's hard to explain it to other people.
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, like, I don't, like, a lot of times I feel like people are like, I just feel this, but I don't know how to explain it to someone else.
Yeah.
So you just live, like, this life where you don't know, like, what's happening inside, and you can't do anything about it. which is the conversation that everyone needs to talk about.
Yes, that's such a good way to kind of like think about it, because it is hard to put it into words sometimes. Like feelings are hard to describe, for sure.
Yeah.
So you said like and I agree, like everyone suffers from like a physical ailment, whether you get like a stomach ache throughout the, you know, like once a month, or you're a headache, or you're like, oh, my back hurts today. Like you're right, like everyone does have like a mental game, everyone does have mental health, you know, that's going to fluctuate and it's going to be fluid. So as you are a high schooler, tell me some of the things that fluctuate your, or just an overview of like broader, like our school community. What do you think like makes our mental health fluctuate?
Well, I think a big thing is stress and anxiety about school in general, like tests and homework and just the overall like high school like lifestyle, if you could say. Because I know a lot of people struggle with test taking, and that brings up a bunch of anxiety. But it's not just that, also like time management with how busy you can get in high school between the tests, obviously, but also other activities, clubs you want to be in. It just gets overwhelming, I think, to a lot of kids, and they don't know how to handle it. And so that also, I think, brings into like depression, which is a big thing. A lot of people, or like they lose friends. Bullying is always an issue. And so it just gets to this big cloud of all these things are building up and I don't know how to handle them.
Yeah.
And so that's where I feel like people need to talk about it more and share their feelings. And even if you don't think you struggle with something, sometimes it's nice just to talk to someone to see like their perspective, or sometimes you actually realize, oh, wait, that's not how I'm supposed to be feeling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I know I personally struggle a lot with like trying with stress and perfectionism in a way, trying to do everything perfect, which I realize is not an option, especially in high school with hard classes. So can you?
So you are. I don't want to say an overachiever because I don't think you do it mindlessly. Like I think you're intentional with all the things that you choose to be. But just for an example, can you tell us perhaps maybe your academic schedule and then your extracurriculars as well?
Yeah. So my life is very busy, crazy. Honestly, a lot of people tell me how busy I am, and sometimes I don't even realize it until I take a step back and I realize, oh, I'm doing all these things.
Right.
So I have a job, and I work at Hy-Vee.
Yes.
Shout out to Hy-Vee.
Where a lot of students work.
Yes,
like
there's a lot of kids
populated
that work there.
School community.
I also am a Cheetah Girls officer.
That's right.
I'm also an Interact officer.
That's right.
I play soccer for AYSO. I'm heavily involved in tech and Spartan TV stuff, which a lot of people don't realize it, but Spartan TV is like an all-the-time thing. Whenever there's a sports event, it's not like when you're just in one sports event, you just go to that one sport, but Spartan TV is like everything.
Yes.
And then tech weeks and weeks before tech week, we're always there, super late at night.
Very late, like 10:30.
Usually,
yeah.
So I basically live at the school.
Right.
Live out of my backpack and my locker.
Yes.
But usually I try to balance it all out between different things. So like right now what's happening is I have Orchesis and Powder Puff and work and soccer and just other activities I have to do.
Yeah.
And of course the one thing that always seems to get pushed back a little bit is family time, which I know is very important to people. So somehow I try to find time to do it all, including just like, because some days you just need a day to go hang out with your friends, like, do that. So I just try to plan it by what's important and what I can do it when I can do it. So I have soccer Mondays and Wednesdays, but Wednesdays I have to go to Orchesis. So my coach is very nice to me and understands everything I'm doing. So he's okay with me skipping a practice, but I then balance it out with going to Powder Puff on some Mondays, and then I go to soccer on some Mondays. So I kind of balance it out that way. And
plus, I mean, you've talked a lot about your extracurriculars. You don't have a light course load of your academics either. I mean, it's a lot in the day that you have to like absorb, and then at night I'm sure you have schoolwork as well.
Yeah, so I'm usually home anytime between like 6 or well, usually
Depends
more
on the
around
day.
like 7:30.
Yeah.
And this is tech, and it's not right. Tech has not started yet.
Right.
So we're not even there yet.
Right.
But usually Friday nights, I'm
Yeah.
usually home around 11:30, 12.
Yeah.
And then I have soccer games in the morning I have to be there at either 8:30 or 9:30.
Yeah.
And so it's very early in the morning. I usually don't get a lot of sleep, especially school days. I'll go to bed usually around like 12 or 1.
Yeah, that's
with
late.
homework, yeah.
That's late. So how do you think your schedule, and I mean, that is, you're running all day long. You're running, right? Like getting to places, being there, trying to learn, absorb, do what is expected of you or what you need to be doing. How do you think that affects your mental health?
Well, I definitely get overwhelmed and stressed sometimes.
Yeah.
And just need a minute to like sit there and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to. This year I've definitely realized I need to take a step back from some things.
Sure.
Because it's gotten so crazy and so busy that
Right.
I physically cannot do it all.
Absolutely.
And I like to think I can. So
I know.
just one thing I like to do usually is when I get home from school, I'll like take a minute, I'll like have a snack,
Yeah.
like just chill out, and then I'll look at what I have to do. And then usually I start off with math because math is my hardest subject right now.
Yes.
And then I usually then move on to stuff that's due the next day, like first hour, second hour.
Yeah.
Because then at least I maybe have stretch to work on some of it,
Right.
which is really nice.
Right, which is a break in your day,
yeah.
25, 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, what's really nice is I have flex 10th hour, so I've been using that to either do homework before I have to go places or
Right.
work on projects I have to do.
Yeah.
Because I also have an independent study.
Yeah, you're
So,
crazy.
Yeah.
So do you think that like you and other students in the school feel pressure to do all those things in your day? I mean, I know your schedule and I know you, so I know why your schedule is busy. But do you think other students feel like they need to be involved in all these things?
I feel like students are pressured to be in lots of things. I don't think they're to be as many as I am.
Yes.
Usually, I mean, not the average person is,
Yes.
but there are a lot of, like, my friends I know are in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times parents do push kids into having a job at least,
Right.
like, which I think is good to have a job when you're younger.
Right.
But I think some people do expect them to do more. Like, originally I was working like 30 hours a week, and I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
So just trying to balance out what you're doing. I always like to say 3 things. One thing to gain you money, one thing to be creative, and one thing to be athletic or to like
Move your body.
Move your body.
You're so wise, Katie. You're so wise. And what do you think about how do you think, and this is like, comes off as such like an older person question, and I'm not meaning it that way. I'm just trying to have the conversation of technology. So like of a phone, of social media. And I use social media as much as anybody else for sure. But I know like you all use social media like to communicate, to tell everybody what's going on. Like Snapchat isn't really a Snapchat. I feel like it's like Snap text sometimes because that's how you like talk. Like you take a photo of yourself, like, hey, what are you doing? Then you get a photo back, oh, nothing, I'm over here. And then you take a photo of yourself. Like, so how do you think all of that, plus Instagram and Facebook, and I'm not bad-mouthing social media. Like, I told you, I think it has like great aspects, and there's like a dark underlying world, of our culture with it as well. So how do you think all of that, like comprehensively, affects students?
Well, I think there's always an underlying effect in anything that you do or you use.
Yeah.
And I do think I need to take a step back from social media sometimes because I do so much sometimes that I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be randomly scrolling through things right now. I should be doing my homework.
Yeah.
Which I feel like there's a sort of balance to it where it's something that can take your mind off of all the other things you have to do.
Okay.
But sometimes it also makes it worse in a way.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to find a balance of like what you're looking at, and I feel like a lot of times nowadays I feel like social media we use more. It's just something that we always have.
Right.
Like you can do something and then put it away.
Yeah.
And then do something and put it away.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes honestly parents or adults try to think of the idea that, oh, you can use it for this amount of time and then put it away and don't use it again for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the way we use it nowadays, it's like you look at it for like 5 minutes or like 3 seconds and then you put it away.
Gotcha.
So I think you just have to find a balance of what you think is important of to use. So like I know you said like sometimes you will go like at the end of the day just like scroll through it and then but be a purpose for it. You're not just randomly scrolling.
Right. Be intentional.
Yes, be intentional with what you're doing. I feel like right now you should find a good book to just randomly scroll through.
Yeah,
instead
absolutely.
of just using a random like explore page on Instagram.
Right. Do you think that like there's a lot of comparison of like that person's doing this and I wish I was more like that person? Do you think a lot of that
yeah, I feel like that's definitely a part of it is you'll look at what some people are posting. You're like, oh, like why wasn't I there? Like why wasn't I invited? That type of thing. But I know for me personally, I think it also depends on who you follow and who you actually pay attention to on the social media. Yeah. Because I know a lot of my friends, like we all will post things about stuff we've done. Yeah. Which I like just go back sometimes and like look at all the fun memories. Yeah. I feel like some people sometimes post just to get likes and to like put your like image out there. Yeah. But I feel like you should do it if it makes you happy. You shouldn't just be posting things to post things in a way. Right. Because if it makes you happy to like see it, then it should maybe make someone else happy to see it. To be like, oh, you're doing good, but yeah.
No, that makes like total sense. So like there is all this science too. Like people will post something and then you open it and someone has liked it or comment and there's like a rush of like good chemicals that go into your brain and it almost like a high, like someone's paying attention to me. Yeah. Someone likes me. I'm important. Like all those feelings, which are true, right? Like everyone's important. You're special in your own way. But perhaps, and I don't know, it's like a false sense of, you know, like there's not a ton of depth perhaps in it.
Because I feel like a lot of times like you can look on Instagram and on like any person's like selfie that they post, like you'll see all these people being like, oh, like you look so pretty, like gorgeous, like just random like comments, which I feel like make you happy in the moment, but like you might look back on that and then you start to like really analyze the picture and you're like, oh, I don't like that about it, I don't like this about it. Yeah. I feel like you should post more things that make you happy with like your friends and like family and food or like animals. I feel like some people worry too much about posting like a good like bikini pic. Like it shouldn't be about that. Like you can be proud of whatever you're posting in a way. Yeah. But I don't know.
And what do you think, so, like the sleep, so, like, what do you think, sometimes I ask him for this beginning of the year when I talk about sleep and our goals that we set for mind, body, and our vision projects and stuff. Like, I know you get, like, no sleep, which, you know, isn't a good thing.
Which I know people get less sleep than me,
which is crazy. So, like, we all, like, sleeping is perhaps like drinking water. Like, your body needs it. Like, you actually need sleep to function. Your brain doesn't work the same. Your body doesn't work the same. Your muscles are different. Everything is different. But it's so easy to push to the side, right? Yeah. And even, like, your body, like, regenerates itself when you sleep. So things that happened the day before to your body or to your mind that were either tough on your mind or tough on your body during sleep, like, everything gets, you know, replenished and rebuilt. So when we don't have that, like, you're sending yourself backwards. So shoot me a number if you were to say the average Sycamore High School student gets this many hours of sleep.
I'd say probably around 6.
Okay, that's not terrible, not good.
Yeah, that's usually what I get around 6.
They say you need 7 to 9, and really probably your age, because you all are still like, you know, your cells are still growing. Like you probably need like 9 hours of sleep.
I feel like that's a big thing is, well, because I looked up some facts on it actually a while ago, where it said high schoolers are supposed to get around like 9 hours of sleep. But also the fact that our bodies have, like, you don't fall asleep until later, and you don't wake up until later, which is why I think so many people are fighting, like, the school and, like, the nation with early school times, because I know a lot of kids, like, they'll be going to, like, first hour, and they have first hour, like, math, and they'll be like, I was not awake in that class.
Gotcha.
I have no clue what happened.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's, like, the late starts, I think, a great thing.
Yeah.
Because people, like, wake up and they're ready for the day. I feel like, honestly, sometimes having just the extra, sometimes I have blended first hour, so some days I can, like, sleep in a little bit, and honestly, the extra, like, 15 minutes, like, helps so much.
Yeah.
And just, like, not rushing to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I feel like finding a time to go to bed to do that is helpful. But I know, like, for a lot of people, like, I work better at night.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather push through tiredness and finish something at night than wake up in the morning, because I will not do it in the morning.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a struggle of trying to find, like, to each person how you work best.
Yeah.
But also trying to balance that out with sleep. Because I feel like now teachers and parents, I think, are starting to understand a little bit more about, like, the mental health of trying to stay up late and finish something. So I know it's still a struggle, and some teachers are like, well, you had all this time to do it. And you're like, well, I also had all these different tasks. I know one of my favorite teachers, Miss White. Hi, Miss White.
She's the best.
She talked to us at the beginning of the year and was like, I know you guys have other classes with lots of other homework.
Yes.
So, like, I'll try not to give you a lot of homework.
Yes.
And I think she just really, like, brought out the message to us that she knows we're in extracurriculars and sports and all these things. And so, yes, a time aside for, like, her class.
Yeah.
But also, it's okay. Like, if you need to work on something that's, like, more of a priority, then do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's so important to lead a full life. Yeah.
Which is trying to balance out everything, which is
and
always...
to come out of it healthy, right? So to come out of it not feeling run down or not have all this anxiety that is affecting your performance or your effectiveness in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I always try to do, like, the 3-rule thing, where you do something that helps your body, or you're, like, moving. Something to help your mind, and something else. Which is why, like, having Mind and Body as a class is really nice, because there's just a section of the day where I can just chillax. I know, like, I'm just going to have to get through that hour. I can put everything that I need to do out of my mind and just do that.
Well, I love that, and I love that could be that for you. So I'm really happy that you say that. All right, so what questions do you have for me? What can I answer as a 33-year-old teacher of high school students? So you know more about the high school kids than I do, but I will do my best.
Well, how did you get through high school with managing everything?
I thought about that last night, like, when I was thinking about just our conversation today, and Okay, so I'm gonna talk about something, then I'm gonna go backwards and I'm gonna come forwards.
Okay.
So over the summer, summer is like, oh, it feels so good to be summer. My schedule like totally drops and it feels so good. And I always want to I love summer. It's like my favorite. I love the hot weather. I water ski a ton. There's a lot of cool things that I'm able to do in the summer. And I want to be really present in it. So in July, I deleted all the social media off my phone, just so I could, like, because I told this to you all in the beginning of the year, I found myself just, like, scrolling endlessly for, like, an hour and being like, I don't even know what I saw. What did I look at? Like, what am I thinking? Like, my brain isn't working. So I took all social media off my phone for July, and I found that my days were longer. Like, the time in my days just felt longer, and I was more present because I wasn't going from talking to you to looking at my phone to back talking to you. I was just talking to you. So time felt like really, good. It didn't feel like I wasn't losing time in my day. So that just brought me back to when I was in high school. When I was a sophomore in high school, Katie, I first got text messaging, and I think I had 100 text messages a month, and it was, like, plenty, because you didn't text the same way. You called people, or someone called your house, right? So I was trying to compare myself and my schedule to, like, an average schedule high schooler that I know now.
I think stuff is so different nowadays with technology.
It is. It totally is.
Which is why I think a lot of parents are like, I don't understand, like, why you're doing this, or, like, why. Like, my parents actually talked to me the other day, and they're like, I guess we just don't understand that nowadays, like, hanging out with a friend is just like texting them when you're doing something.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to communicate to people. Or like FaceTiming. Like sometimes my parents will be like, why are you just like, you don't even have your face on the screen, like you just have your phone open, like talking to someone? It's like, well, it's just like they're in the room, like you're just
is that out. So talk to me more about that. Is that like what like so that happens, so you're like, I'm hanging out with somebody but we're just talking, like over the phone.
Mm-hmm. My parents won't realize, like, oh, like, I'm hanging out with someone or I'm doing something.
Yes.
Because I'm just in my room alone.
Gotcha.
But, like, I know one of my friends, like, will just, like, FaceTime at night, like, doing homework. Like, and sometimes there'll be silence, but it's just, like, a feeling of, like, having someone there.
Yes.
I feel like, I don't know, it's weird, but...
Which I like that. I like, oh, we're doing this together, we're in this together. Do you think, and I'm just asking you an honest question, do you think that it isolates you not having another person, actually just having it, like having, like, the barrier of the phone? Do you think that's isolating?
I don't think so, because at least I feel like you do need to have time when you're not on your phone with someone. Like my friends and I just had game night the other day where we just like had fun. But I feel like sometimes it feels more isolating if you don't talk to anyone. And you're just, because we're so busy nowadays with all these things that, because you don't have time to go over to someone's house or someone come over to your house or you meet somewhere. So just like a small like text feels like, oh, maybe I'm with someone. I'm doing something.
Sure, a connection. Right.
But finish your story. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. So my first cell phone or device I was a sophomore. And so I'm trying to compare like my schedule perhaps to a little bit of your schedule. I don't think I did as much as you did because you are insane.
I know.
But I did do a lot, and I loved being involved, and I still do love being involved. So did you ask me what did I do to de-stress or what my schedule was like in high school? I forgot the question.
Well, I guess both.
Okay, so my schedule was really busy. So in the summertime, I water ski, and I competitively water ski and do that all summer with my family. So I've always done that. I played soccer, indoor soccer and soccer so all winter long, and then in the spring for high school. I also danced. So I danced in the fall and in the winter. I also was in photography club. I was in a ceramics club. I did a bunch of random things. That's probably the major things that I did. I'm trying to think if I did anything else. But it was always a busy schedule, and it was always fun, but it was always fast. But I always remember, I didn't always make it home in time for dinner, but I always remember sitting down and having dinner, and I was never sitting down with my phone and having dinner. So, like, I think part of the reason that I remember, like, coming home and being at home and having dinner is because I was present during those moments. And I think that built into my day was a way for me to de-stress. So when I came home and I put all my stuff down and I finished, I also worked. I worked for my aunt at her hair salon. I was a shampoo girl for like 7 years. So I worked on weekends as well. But I think so just sitting down and eating and being present eating was a way for me to peel layers of stress away, so that when I did go to sleep that night and I did wake up the next day for my full schedule, I left everything in yesterday, where I think that and I don't know this, but I'll talk for myself personally, if I'm on my phone all night, I don't feel like I have those, I don't feel like I let everything go. And that's just me personally. I just don't feel like I've actually de-stressed, or just like downshifted perhaps. Like I'm still thinking, going, doing. And that's not all my phone's fault for sure, but I am very aware of that. So I never had that in my life, but I had the same thing as you. I mean, I had friends and a social life, and sometimes things happen with friends and in social circles that are tough, which I think those affect your mental health as well. You know, someone says something and it hurts your feelings, and then for the next week you're carrying that around, or you see something happen and that hurts your feelings or affects you in some way, and that creates anxiety or stress, or you want to do something about something, and you know, it's this inner conflict. So I definitely had all of those, and I think that is part of growing up. That's part of being a high schooler, is learning how to navigate those situations and feel that stress, and learning how to deal with that stress. But I don't know, I literally don't know if all the technology makes those problems more for you all.
I feel like nowadays everyone just blames it on technology.
It's an easy,
because all these problems, it's because of this. I feel like it's definitely a factor of some things.
Yeah.
But like I agree with you. I don't know if it's exactly the reason for it. I know that I feel like everyone needs to find one way to like leave everything at night, because I know I definitely need to find some way to do that, because I'll go to bed thinking, okay, I've got to do this tomorrow, this tomorrow, got this test, got this quiz, got this project
then
due.
Your body is like shaking with like all this like adrenaline.
So I like to listen to music at night usually to sleep, which is nice because I can just calm down, just like listen to that. I don't have to like actually like listen or like do anything. But yeah, I feel like maybe having a sort of routine can also help. Just like, okay, put everything away. I feel like also keeping like your homework separate from like where your bed is. So like putting your homework where you don't have it like sit out on the on your desk or something. But yeah, I feel like it's something that everyone struggles with, and everyone has to find their way to navigate. So.
Right. All right, what other questions do you have for me? What else can I try to answer?
Let's see. So there's questions about depression and like panic attacks. What do you do during a panic attack?
Well, let me just say I'm not a professional and I'm not trained in dealing with that, but I could just tell you my thoughts on it. I could share, maybe you could share. So I think depression is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I think it's really tough for a lot of people. And I think depression can roll itself into deeper ends or shallower ends. And I think that it's something that we should talk about more, and that it's okay to feel depressed. Whether you feel depressed for one day or it's something that you feel for a long period of time, anyone who is feeling depressed should talk to someone, and if possible, talk to a professional. Like we talked about earlier, like if your ankle is broken, if you roll it doing Zumba or something, you know that you're like, I need to go see someone. I need to go see a physician. But I think when we feel depressed, we're like, it's fine. I'll be fine. And that is a dangerous thought, because if you walk on a broken ankle, it's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. So, again, I'm not a professional, and I'm not prescribing anything to anyone, but I believe that you should reach out. In any aspect of life, I always think that if you don't know something about something, or you want to know something more, that you should find someone who's smarter than you or knows more than you, and talk to them and use them as a mentor. So I think that if you're feeling that way, you should find someone, seek someone out, and that it's okay to ask help. Asking for help isn't a weakness. It's actually an empowerment that you are looking to draw yourself, differently. Go ahead.
I feel like everyone has been depressed or is going to be depressed at least a little bit. Especially, I know my mom always talks about college rolling around. Like, that's the worst time for a lot of people. So always having someone to talk to. And just someone you trust and be comfortable with. Because I think a lot of people don't realize, everyone feels, and I know a lot of people like, I use air quotes on this, like, joke about being depressed.
Or just use that term loosely.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't know. I know a lot of people who struggle with it a lot, where, like, it's an actual, like, they can't get out of bed because of it. So I think there's just, like, such a wide, like, range of what depression is. So people don't know how to handle it usually, I think.
So, And I think perhaps even in, like, society, like, it's coming around more to, like, be acceptable and understanding, which is awesome. But, like, what happens in your mind is going to affect your body, and sometimes you won't be able to get out of bed in the morning. Like, that's real. For panic attacks, panic attacks. So I think that in the moment, so I'm just going to adjust it as in the moment, what do you do if you're like all of a sudden, like something's happening either physically in your body or something happens and you're like, what do I do now? I think if you're not in danger, if you're in a dangerous situation and you start panicking, I think you need to either run or hide, figure something out to do, run or hide, and make yourself safe. If it's just emotional where you're like, sitting in, like say if you and I were talking, or if you're in class and you're like, what can I do?
Yeah, I know a lot of people like freeze up when like some teachers ask
Yeah.
them questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, that's a really good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or I know sometimes like when you're taking a quiz or a test and you don't know how to answer the question, like
Yeah.
I know sometimes I just like freeze up and I'm like, what do I do?
Right.
Yeah. So usually at least what I like to do is like move on to another problem
Yes.
and then like go back to that.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't even know what I feel like.
So I talk to you all the time, mind, body, about your
Yeah.
breath, right? I'm always like, everybody breathe with me. Stay with me in your breath. The power of your breath is undeniable. And if you really like are able to pause, like if you're in this like attack and you're feeling it, or this moment, if you're able to pause and just even be like, okay, I feel my feet on the floor. I'm focusing on how my feet feel on the floor. Or I'm sitting in my chair, my desk, and I'm focusing on the way that, you know, the chair feels. It's hard. So actually just drawing yourself into the moment is really powerful, because it takes it away from like this mental spiral of like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me. Oh my gosh, this is whatever. And then dropping into your breath. So feeling like, okay, I'm breathing in through my nose. I'm feeling my lungs expand. I'm going to exhale. I'm going to relax my face as I exhale. I'm going to feel everything just ground. Like, that's really powerful. So again, I'm not a professional, but perhaps that could be a tool in your toolbox that you could use if there's ever a moment. Like, just take yourself into the moment as present as possible by like, I'm holding this pen. Like, I'm going to hold this pen in my hand, and I feel the way that it feels in my fingers. I'm just going to think about this pen in my hand. Or I'm going to focus on the way I'm breathing, and I'm going to slow my breath down.
Yeah, I think focusing on one thing is the best way, and don't focus on like everything that's happening around you. Just focus on something that you know you can't, like, that can't change.
Yeah.
Or you have the power to change.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Super cool.
So I guess the next thing before we end this is school stress. How do you think we should handle school stress?
Like academics?
I think, yeah, just like the stress of
Going to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
everything.
Well, I am a high school PE teacher, and I believe in the power of movement. So I think that I think all of you deserve to have a break in your day where you don't have to use your mind as much, and you can move your body. And you know, I mean, I talk about it all the time about how moving your body can change your life. So I think taking 30 minutes and just focusing on your body, whatever PE class you take, is going to be super powerful. I think so. For the staff wellness, we have a wellness team here that meets for the staff, and this is something that I've been inspired by just different readings and different professionals, is we have 4 pillars of wellness that we focus on with the staff, with the teachers and everyone who works, you know, the administrative assistants and everyone. So the 4 pillars are eat, move, sleep, /downshift, and social. So that kind of like your 3 questions you were asking you, if you build that framework into your wellness, so like eat, so pay attention to what you eat, eat really good foods that make you feel really good. Move your body, whether you walk and talk with a friend, or you go bowling for 30 minutes, or you ride your bike, or you jump into yoga, whatever it is. And then sleep, you gotta figure out how to sleep, like it's so important. And to downshift, so to take yourself from like, you know, going to class and going to this and doing my homework, actually downshifting and taking a step back where like the layers of stress we're talking about peel away from you. And then social. So the longest living people in the world, like people who live to like 100 and they're really healthy, they have really strong social structures where they feel supported by their friends. So they see their friends often, they see their family often, but they also feel supported, so that if you were to have something like when you get older, people have financial breakdowns, suddenly they find themselves in this crisis. If you feel that you have family or friends that will catch you, or you have an emotional, you know, relationships end, or for you, you know, whatever it is, you know, how it relates to you and where you are in your life, but you feel like you have people behind you that when you fall, they're going to lift you up or they're going to catch you. So I think those 4 things. So as any person, whether they're in elementary school or they're 90, I think if you focus on, you know, really paying attention to what you put in your body, because that affects you. Focus on moving your body. Like, we were literally born to move. Like, the bodies that we have now, we're born to like work. So move your body. Sleep. Like, figure it out. We have to sleep. And then find some good people to surround yourself with that, you know, care for you and love you and support you.
Yeah. So in conclusion, I think a summary of everything is just to find these 4 things or the 3 things and really just focus on that, because I think a lot of people, you start to stress about everything outside of that. So if you start with a solid foundation. One quote I read once was, once you hit rock bottom, it's okay, because then you have a foundation to build upon.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I forgot what it was because it was worded better. But
no, you said it beautifully.
Yeah, so I think that was the main thing. But do you want to do your...
I think that's a great way to close. I think so. So I have just like perhaps maybe a 2 or 3 minute meditation. So this could be done any time of the day, any place really. You'd hope to do it somewhere quiet and maybe like a little darker, but really like any time of the day where you're feeling like, just too much is going on, you could go ahead. Find yourself a quiet place to sit in. Turn off all your lights or dim them, and turn your phone off or flip it over. This is your time, a time for total relaxation and inner stillness. Take a moment to make sure that you are warm enough and that you are seated comfortably. Rest your hands loosely in your lap and close your eyes. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment, and then slowly exhale. Allow any tension to melt away as you gradually relax and more deeply with each breath. Take another long, slow, deep breath in, hold it, and then exhale. Empty your lungs completely with your out breath. Take a third deep breath in, take your time, hold it for a moment, and then let it go. Already, feel yourself beginning to drift into a state of relaxation. Can you continue to breathe slowly and gently? Relax. Now bring your awareness to the top of your head. Sense or imagine a feeling of relaxation beginning to spread down from the top of your scalp. Let the muscles in your forehead and temples relax. Allow your eyes to relax. Let your cheeks and jaw soften, letting go of all tension. Feel this peaceful feeling flowing down your neck and deep into the muscles in your shoulders, soothing, releasing them. Breathe. Allow this feeling to flow through your arms, relaxing, soothing, all the way to the tips of your fingers. As your body relaxes, your mind relaxes. Your thoughts become weightless, like wisps of clouds in the breeze. Allow the sensation to flow through your chest and stomach. Feel how your stomach gently rises and falls as you breathe, slowly and deeply, soothing and relaxing. Turn your attention to your back and feel this relaxing sensation flow all the way down your spine. Feel the peaceful feeling flow through your low body. Relax the backs of your thighs, the fronts of your thighs. Let the soothing feeling flow down through your knees and into your calves. Relax your ankles, relax your feet. Let your entire body be gentle, calm, and relaxed. And you can stay here for a few moments, a few hours, a few days, and just enjoy. How do you feel, Katie?
I feel great. I definitely didn't breathe as much because I didn't want it to be loud in the mic.
Well, I hope that we were able to share a little bit about just taking care of your mental health and awareness. And we are not professionals. We're just two people living through life and doing our best. Mm-hmm. So again, Katie, I'm so proud of you. And all the work that you do for the school and for your community is amazing, inspiring, and you're great.
I'm so thankful for you to be a great teacher.
Oh.
I wouldn't be like this if I hadn't met you. So.
Oh, you're the best, Katie. All right, 2 cheetahs signing out.
Yep. Hashtag be a cheetah. And don't forget to go check out our YouTube channel, which is SHS Cheetah Girls.
That's right.